People have like a 2 hours morning routine for them to feel good. But then by the time they finish their routine, they get so tired that they don't have work for other things.
99% of the problems out there, you need cash to solve it. The other 1%, you need more cash.
If no money and we are 30 to 40, then I think we have to check our brain first.
All right, fellow masterminders. So the reason I'm having this session is I want all of you to start to go in to their mind to think like them, okay? Because we are going to talk about wealth, okay? The topic for tonight is gonna be about wealth. So I'm gonna ask a few questions, and our fellow speakers is gonna tell whatever they want to tell, okay? And later on, you guys can try to capture whatever you get and also ask some questions, okay? And this is a learning session that all of us can learn from each other. Because I actually believe that we needed a lot great brain to collide together and make some miracle, make some, like bring up some essence, bring up some great mind, great thoughts. And I think it's going to be really interesting. Okay. So, next to me here, this is Andrew, and he's been, many things. E-commerce, guru and investor in, I think, for durian farm, and many other things also. And Aaron is a super persuasion master, right? He literally could persuade you anything, okay? And of course, that means, like in life, right? We need persuasion skill to make money, right? How many of you agree? Say yes. Right? So, and that's why, right? It's also very important for Aaron to be here today. And next one would be Ainsley. He made his first 1 million in 17 years old, and even now he already way past by the million story already. Okay, he is heading to the billions, right? And good things is, something that really always inspire me is he is only 23 now. Okay, and I can't even remember 23 years old what I'm doing. Most likely I'm just working as a programmer, I think. But back then, I got things that I didn't know. Okay? I got things I didn't know. But good still, along the journey, it's never about the age. It's about at the right time, you meet the right people, you learn, you break through. Right? That's why all of you is here, right? Yeah? So next one is also another young achiever. I always call him the youngest version, Tony Robbins in Southeast Asia, right? Should we give him a big applause? Okay. And this guy, he been inspiring a lot of people on stage. The last round, he is speaking on thousands of people on stage. Okay. And I think it's really great to have him here. And one more round, big round of applause for him. Okay. Next, Eugene, right? All the way from Portugal and from origin from Australia. Grew up from Australia, and he fly in here just to spend really good time with us and also share some good things. And Eugene himself has been serving a lot of corporate clients, and and of course he got good way to generate leads and help people make money. How many of you want that? Say yes. All right, so that's the person that you should talk to. Okay. And of course, Eugene is more than that. Okay, then that's for you to find out. Okay. And last but not least, Wayne Liu. Okay. Been helping My Valley and been helping a lot of infopreneurs to start to do their ads. And literally I'm not sure is that correct or is it can disclose or not. He's literally managing 50 million to 100 million ad spend every single year. Am I right? or more than that? Now you have a team, so more, right? So like 200 million? Okay, so that's why, I mean, like, I really admire about him is there is nobody that in the market that will just rely on you, say, hey, here's my 50 million, you spend it for me. I mean, like, you got to have something so great that people will entrusted you with the 50 million or 100 million and spend. Am I right? So, if you want, it's literally the money printing machine is sitting here. Okay, and that's value. Give me a big applause. Alright, and okay, so guys, tonight, I'm going to ask you guys a few questions, alright? I mean, you guys can take turn to talk about it. Number one is, I mean, the big topic is about wealth. And the first question is, how you got your first million or maybe a significant wealth that elevate or change your life? I mean, it might not be the millions. It might be the first big bulk of money or maybe small bulk of money that really changed the way you guys been doing. And you know the lesson that you learned from it or the story. Can you share with us? Start from you.
I got many stages in my life. I have made a lot of money. I've lost a lot of money. I have had one stage of my life where I say, because I can. Then one year I spent money to buy 30 pairs of designer shoes. So, and then after that, because of, I would say, my own arrogance, I didn't learn how to invest. And that's why I lost everything in COVID. And then within 1 year, I built myself again. So if you want to talk about what is my first pot of gold, I think I got two pots. One was when I devised a way of doing e-commerce by making money. I make money by not losing money. Basically, I have a whole framework on that. And because of that framework, it was easy to scale up. Then I started to create my brands, and each brand brings in like 5 figures a month, and accumulated 1 mil was actually pretty easy. That was the before days. Then I got arrogant. I guess my second one would be after COVID, when I lost everything. And when I came up again, that was when I start to realize that cash flow, or more like the ability to make big money, came from still e-commerce. And then I pivoted to Zoom, and through online, through short videos, and even long form videos, right? I applied it to my speaking business and my e-commerce business, and that brought in the second pot of gold. If you want to talk about how to make it sustainable, I think nowadays my mission is how to help my students create cash flow and make it sustainable. And I would say it's about who you know. I got to know brand aggregators who buy brands, and when they approached me, I also thought about my community. I said to them, what is the framework or what is the criteria you have in order to buy a business? And because I was able to create a framework that helps people sell off their businesses, create cash flow, and discipline themselves, put that cash flow into different safe investments like durian. Crypto is the slightly risky one, but at least it's good returns. Then I also sell kangkong in Thailand. Then also I think here and there a little bit of investments here and there. So now I would say if it's about how to get
lesson. If one piece of lesson that you learned, you want to share.
One piece of lesson: watch your cash flow. It's always about understanding the profit calculation before you spend money to buy any stock or start any business. The research is out there, the data is out there. And when you are so clear about that data, where every transaction you confirm guarantee you make money, that's when you know you got a business you can scale up. Okay, thank you.
Well said. Next one, Aaron.
All right. So my one, I think pretty much Andrew sums it all already. So So I also have the same thing, up and down, up and down, up and down. But I think one most important lesson that I realized that actually changed the way I look at things when I managed to get a pot of gold, right, is actually having to change the mindset and how we perceive something, right? So that's the most important thing that I realized, because back then when we can make money, right, it's easy because last time, when there's not so many salespeople around and we don't have too much competition. Like right now, can you guys say it's like probably whatever that you sell today, right, you have a lot of competition, correct? No matter what you do, everybody is competing against you. One click on your phone, they can find every single data already. Okay, so that mindset shift that really helps me to see like getting that pot of gold is how you look at money. Because last time I am a consumer mindset, meaning I use money to consume things, buy stupid things. I spent close to $1 million on cars. I had my first 6-figure car by 23. By 23 years old, I changed 3 cars already. Stupid. Wow. Yeah. But then one thing that I think after I was in my second business and I was distributing darts machine, right, I closed my first 11 million deal, and that gave me a very big boost of confidence and also commission. But what closed that deal wasn't the car that I drove. Just to let you know, the car that I drove back then, right, off record, close to $500,000. Whoa. Close to $500,000, all right? But the buyer has never sat in the car before. So what does that tell you? It's more about you as a person, right, as opposed to what you own. The real deal outside there are the people that can see that. All right. So first thing first is to fix yourself and fix what we think and how we think. Then moving forward, it will be easy for you to find your pot of gold. Because you see, right, if you understand money, right, money has no value.
Agree.
And if you keep chasing something that has no value, with that no value thinking, right, we can't get anywhere. So if you could change to this one thing, which is the amount of money that you will make, that you actually make, right, is in parallel with what you can solve and how big is the problem in the market. People pay to solve a problem. So the moment you change that, right, money is a very easy game.
So what you are actually saying here is money is the result of exchange when you give out values, right?
Absolutely. So it's like one thing that is very important is that today, when you want to get money, right, just look at yourself, and every time you spend money, you ask yourself why you spend the money. Why the other person can take their money away from you. Then you can become wealthy. Just look at it every time, okay? That's the basis. All right, and I think, that's it.
Wow, good one. Big round of applause.
Agree.
Done?
Next. All right. I think everyone knows how I made my first some money, right? So when I was 17, this, that, do drop shipping, make some money, done. So
you always like to make it so easy, right?
So before that, right, I tried quite a lot of things, right, as you already know. So it's like crypto, digital marketing, this and that. And then, eventually tried another 8 months in drop shipping, and then got my first winner, and then make some money. Yeah.
But what's the lesson you learned along?
So the lesson was, you need to don't give up, and then try your best. Like actually try your best. Because like when you fail in something, right? Your family, your friends will tell you that you have already tried your best. But if you have not reached your goal yet, or you're not successful yet, you have actually not tried your best yet.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you guys get that? Try it until you get it. That's what he means, right?
Correct. Okay. Okay, lah. Okay, thank you.
Okay, so for me, I think I learned 3 things about money. And I think number 1, I agree with what Aaron actually said, which is basically if you are able to find something that people can actually find value for, that is where you are able to charge a very high sum of money. So for me, when I first started this journey, I asked myself, like, how am I able to help people to break through themselves? So this is something that I realized that a lot of people actually need. Because a lot of people, they felt that they are not good enough, they don't have the confidence. So when I'm able to help them to solve this problem, then it makes sense for them to actually invest in me. So I think that's the first lesson, which is to find something that people value for. And then after that, I think the second lesson that I've learned is the ability to actually influence and to share this skill to other people. Because when I first do like personal breakthrough program, it is something that is very hard to sell because people don't see the value in it. So one thing that I always believe in is not just about how good you are, but it's about how good you can communicate how good you are. Because when you learn how to influence, when you learn how to present in a way where people actually buy into your idea, so that is where people actually give you their money. So that's the second lesson I've learned. And I think the last lesson I've learned is something that I've discovered this year, which is whatever you do, you need to have not just volume, which is basically hard work, but you also need to have leverage. So what do I mean by leverage is that you need to have a network of people who are able to elevate you to the next level. Because we could be at our own circle, we keep on focused on the volume that we put in, but if we don't have leverage, it's very hard for us to climb up to the next level and fast. So that's why like for this year, I've also been spending a lot of time building my network, hanging out with people who are much better than me, because people always say like you are the top 5 people that you hang around with. So I think these are the 3 lessons I've learned.
Very well said. Big applause.
Cool. So I probably have like 3 things as well. So the first one I'd say is talking about risk. I think everyone shared a bit about stories about ups and downs. So I think the first thing would be to try and get security. So build a, what's it called? Like a 6-month buffer or a 12-month buffer. So especially if you're in business, things can go up and down all the time. So if you have a buffer there, then at least you know things go bad, you can always got something to fall back on, or if there's an opportunity that comes up, you can use that. Secondly would be network. So obviously events like what Jeff is doing, getting into a group of people doing the same thing as you is really good. In my past, I did real estate. So the first thing I would do is go find groups that did the same thing. So you network together. Books like How to Influence and Influence People, like Dale Carnegie talks about getting a network together. So that's how you work together. That's how you enhance yourself. Because if you're working by yourself, it's a lot harder when you've got people around you that do the same thing. And then the third thing about wealth, which is kind of what I've learned about more recently, is not just about cash flow and like making money now. It's about creating value that you can sell later. So, you know, if you've got a business, maybe you collect data, maybe that data is worth money. Maybe your business can buy like property that has value. So that's like the side value from what you're just doing in your sales as well. So I think that'll be the 3 things that'll cover.
Wow, yeah. Okay. Big round of applause for him.
All right, for me, I think I make my, let's say, first pot of gold during full-time employment which is very different than everybody has shared. So I think the lesson that I learned there is really hone in on one specific skill that you're really, really good at, and then find people who would value the skill. Because, for example, my expertise is in advertising and media buying. I could join a small business in Malaysia, for example, but then the nature of the business itself will actually limit my skill, right? So I ended up joining a company with the US market, for example, and through my work, my value would be shown better. And it's kind of like doing sales. You could do sales for a company selling a widget for like 10 ringgit per widget versus selling real estate, for example. It's the same thing. So that's the lesson that I learned early, and that's how I navigated myself from my employment. I think in terms of wealth, where I'm at right now is actually at the wealth multiplication phase, where I'm trying to use leverage. And in this case, it's by getting myself a team. So my team helps me to do the work that I was doing and kind of like fast track the wealth that I'm kind of like accumulating here. And I think like the last one is really like when it comes to wealth, I like to measure it in terms of lifestyle. So like the first level is like not having to look at prices when you eat out. That's like level 1. And level 2 is like not having to look at prices when you shop for groceries, right? And then you have level 3, which is like not having to look at prices when you travel. So I'm right now like around that phase, but I'm not at level 4 and level 5, which is like buying a car without looking at prices, or like buying a house without looking at prices. So I think that's how I kind of like measure wealth for myself. So yeah, that's me.
But I think that he did share a very crucial keyword, which is replicate. And another takeaway that I get from him is you got to find people that really value your skill, because you don't go to the wrong audience to sell your skill. And when you find the right audience, you will able to serve better, at the same time makes more money from that, and people are happy, you are happier, you are having a happier life, right? And in fact, that is really like marketing, right? You need to like funnel, you need to like select your audience, you need to serve the things that they want. So that's the things that I get from Reid, and everyone give him a big round of applause. So my next question is, okay, just now we did talk about a lot of things. What's the number one thing that you think most people have that blocking them gaining wealth? What's the number one thing that blocking most people gaining wealth?
That's a very thought-provoking question, actually. I never gave and think about this, actually. But if I were to look at myself previously and what was blocking me from getting wealth, this one, okay, might be a little bit controversial for you guys, right? Somewhat sensitive, somewhat offensive, but I tell it what it is, and it is, right? And it could be something that you never guess as well. So the one thing that will block people from getting wealth is the environment that they're in. And what I say is, why I say that is because, right, all this while when I was working for other people and working my own business as well at that time, I'm still staying with my mother. So I was having the pretense that I'm saying, okay, I need to see my mother every day, wake up and everything, make sure she's safe, right? So I'm still staying together with her. But my mom was kind of a single mom. So she's a very tough person. She has to be negative in order to survive. So everything, she's very skeptical, she's very protective, right? To a point, right, that she, even though she don't admit it, but she try to make all the decisions and she try to influence you. And as much as she is being very intentionally try to be helpful, try to be good to me, try to help me out, but she didn't know that she hurt me along the way. And I didn't know that. And one thing because that was my environment, right? Whatever I need to do, you see, if you go back home and my mom is there and talking about a lot of things, right? Then suddenly what happened is that I was being affected by what she talked to me. And after that, when I realized this and I moved out, right, moved out quite late, in my early 30s, right? So I moved out and my wealth shot up. I made wealth back then when I was staying with my mom, but it's like a roller coaster, I can't keep, right? So the moment I moved out, it shot up. So I think one thing to realize is that look at your environment. Sometimes the people who are closest to you, right, they're trying to help you, they love you, but they could be the one that's stopping you from getting wealth.
Wow. Okay, that's interesting. How about, yeah?
Yeah, I probably agree there. Two things. One is probably yourself, firstly, so your own mind. There's probably fear of if you're successful, what will happen, how will your network change, how will your life change, do the people you talk to, will they like me anymore? And then the second one would be the people around you, so whether that's family or friends. So if it's friends, it's like, oh, hey, you're working so hard, why are you, not hanging out with us anymore? Why are you going to weird conferences? And then if it's family, it's like, oh, is it too risky? Is this really the right thing to do? So I think that's probably the two main things that hold people back. It's usually themselves and their network, so they have to fix themselves first, and then probably have to change their environment.
Focus on yourself rather than being influenced by the circle, right?
Yeah.
Wow, good one. How about?
All right, so in terms of blockers, I think there are two things. One is people have to believe in what they can accomplish, because a lot of people that I speak to, because of their environment, because of the people around them, they don't believe that they can accumulate wealth for whatever reasons, right? I'm sure you've spoken to people where they talk, like when it comes to wealth, they're like, it's okay, all my families are just earning this amount of money, for example. Or like certain cultures would say that, oh, it's okay, my friends are earning around this level, my salary is good. But first of all, you need to understand whether you want it or not. Because if you believe in it, there will always be a way to do it. And then another thing is also, if you believe in something already that you really, really want, I think another thing is also people start looking at successful examples instead of trying to learn from it. They start nitpicking, right? So for me, when I look at someone who is like successful, like Bill Gates, for example, I don't nitpick his involvement in, let's say, like the vaccine or like COVID and all that stuff. I look at what made him successful or accumulating the wealth that he accumulated. Same thing is, let's say if you want to be a successful influencer and you look at, some of the influencers out there, instead of like criticizing them, like try to learn from what they did specifically to gain that fame and followership. So that's the two like blockers that I see in most people. So yeah, that's me.
Yeah, Sri?
For me, I think with what they all said, which I totally agree with. So one thing from my perspective is this one word called hunger. Because most of the time people say that they actually want to make money, they want to be successful, but then their actions show otherwise. So for me, I think that like if you want to really be at the top, you got to be willing to do things that people are not willing to do. Like for me, I find it so easy for people to actually be at the top if you can just wake up like 5 a.m., 6 a.m. every day. And if you wake up at 5 a.m. just to put in the work, you are already ahead of 50 to 60% of the population out there. But then the problem is that they said they want to achieve this, but then basically they kind of want it, but the commitment is not there. So one thing that I've learned is there's a difference between being interested versus being committed.
So I actually got a question about that.
Yeah.
You see, there is tons of people that wake up early, go work out, but still broke. So, any saying,
Yeah.
what's a commitment that you are saying that the things that people are willing to do? Because personally, I don't believe in waking up early, sleep early kind of things. Yeah, right? So, but I think the idea is
Yep.
being uncomfortable, right?
So for me, I'm not an advocate of you need to wake up early, but it's actually what you do when you wake up until you sleep. That period will determine how successful you are. Like most of the people, like they say, you want to wake up early, you got to have your morning routine. Do ice bath, breath work, then you do your journaling. So people have like a 2 hours morning routine for them to feel good. But then by the time they finish their routine, they get so tired that they don't have work for other things. So for me, it's like really getting the work done, even when you are waking up. Ask yourself, like, if you want to make money, what are the 3 things that move you towards your goal this year? Today and on that day, and you just focus on that, not on other morning routines. Because a lot of people, they tell you that morning routines are important, but that is because they become successful already, then only they have their time for morning routine. But what people don't realize is that what actually gets them to that level is the deep and dirty work that they actually do way before they are successful.
Well said. Big round of applause.
Okay, so this one is a bit controversial a bit. I'm this prolific guy. So while what they say is true, is 100% follow what they do. But I think one simple thing is this. Imagine, this one I've been through together with him. Morning we wake up, look at our phone, ka-ching, 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 ka-ching. You think you want to do the job, right? But the moment you look at the phone, right, the e-com sales come in. You wake up with $3,000 of sales, US dollars. You think you want to put in the work? 100%. So nothing motivates you better than actually measuring the progress and having some kind of progress inside. So if today you can make 1 sale, tomorrow you want to make 2 sales already. You get what I'm saying? All right. So this is the thing that I think, could be one game changer for you. You don't need to do a lot of things. You know why? I also don't wake up early one. No. But waking up early is good. Waking up early is actually good. But more important than waking up early is to sleep early. Okay?
Agree. Everything has already been mentioned, I think. Alright, I think first thing is, like Shuyi said, hunger. Second thing is people don't set goals. Like they want to make money, right? But they don't know how much to make. They only know that they want to be rich, and what is rich, right? 100 ringgit is maybe rich as well. 1 million is rich, 10 million is rich. And then people don't take risks and they don't take action as well.
I still remember the other day we got this conversation about like there's people that make money, and then when somebody asks them, it's like, hey, is it good to invest into your business? Is it easy? And those rich people will always say that no, it's very difficult. Don't do it anymore. Nowadays, it's not the trend anymore. But still, the people is still actually doing that and make more money than 10 years ago, right? So what you're saying about that?
Yeah, true. I mean, that is because when you ask them, and they won't tell you that they are making a lot, because if you come in, they have another competition, right? Yeah. But I mean, like, connect to like setting goals, right? What I realized is like you need to set a goal of how much you want to make. So for example, you need 1 million ringgit or $1 million. So you need to break down, right? Like, how do you make this $1 million or 1 million ringgit, right? So maybe you need to sell a 100 ringgit product 10,000 times. So find what you need to sell, right? For 100 ringgit, and then just sell it.
So to you, it's like define a goal and break down your goal and work out the journey, right?
Yes, correct. I mean, it is pretty hard to feel if you really try your best. When you break down a goal, right, it gets more simple and more simple and more simple, and you just have to execute. Because like most people don't take action as well.
But in fact, I know a lot of people, they make a lot of goals every year. And maybe they make a lot of goals every week. Or maybe every morning they wake up and say, okay, today this is my goal. But still, they are never there. The goals is always just a dream rather than...
My suggestion is don't make like 100 goals. Just make one, you achieve it, and then next one, right? Because like most people have, I want to slim down, I want to have freedom, I want to make 1 million, I want to this, that, 1, 2, 3. So don't do that. If you want freedom, right? So you need to think what gets you freedom. You probably need money. So money is the first thing that you need to make lah, right? So how much money do you need in order to get freedom or travel here, travel there, and then make lah?
So simple, right? But it's so deep in there, right? A lot of wisdom in there. Big applause, right?
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Well, I like what you guys are saying. Goals, you want or do not want, and then hunger. I go a bit deeper because I think whatever answers we give belong to those of us who are already naturally goal-getters. We chong, we love money, and then we do whatever it takes, type A people. If I want to generalize it a bit more, like what causes people to self-sabotage? Emotions. Okay, emotions. Why emotions? Okay, business usually is a set of principles, strategies, steps, and if you've got your goals and you say, I want to plan this every day, then inside you, in your emotion, there's one little you that say, yeah, right. Who are you to be this kind of person? How many of you understand what I'm talking about? Okay, so if we don't have that emotional stability, no matter how much goals or how much actions we take, there will be some part of you that will self-sabotage that progress. And that's what I feel many people who are on their journey of success sometimes put aside. We got many gurus who teach us about goals, teach us about being a go-getter, even waking up early in the morning, and habits. And maybe I go to a deepest point. All of us have got an inner child, and that inner child has been hurt before. And you may not know how that inner child is even influencing you right now. And many of us think that maybe it's not a big deal, it's in the past, But then why is it that people still almost reach to that stage where they are almost going to break through, and then suddenly, poof, everything crashes? Then go through the same process again, second one, third one. Every time it's poof, something happens and everything goes crashing. And maybe it's just as simple as going back into your inner child and realize that something at 7 years old where you got misunderstood, wrong, betrayed by the people you love, that made you feel like you don't trust people. That's why that lack of trust ends up self-sabotaging. Okay, so in a nutshell, I would say it's not just the mind, but it's about your mind and your emotions. When they are both aligned, everything else, the network, the goal settings, even your desire and hunger, all gets fueled because you are aligned. Okay?
Wow, that's very interesting. Big round of applause to Andrew. Okay, so actually I'm just gonna have 2 more questions. Okay, the next one is: would you choose fast big money or cash cow empire? Fast big money.
Fast,
I mean, like
money.
you see, nowadays we got a lot of investment like crypto, like Bitcoin, right? So you put in money, maybe next month you make 100 times back than comparing you put in, I don't know, maybe 5 years of your efforts in a business, and the business will not generate you a big money, but a decent money, okay, that generate cash flow for you, and you can live well, but it's not a big, super big money. I mean, what would you choose? A cash cow empire or fast money? Fast big money?
I go back to Robert Kiyosaki's cash flow game. How many of you how many played that before? Okay, there are the big deals card and there are the small deals card, correct? And it really comes back to your character as a person. If you go for the big deals and everyone is big deal, big deal, big deal, most of the time that game is set up in such a way that people who go for big deals have also big crashes. But if the person who goes for small deal, then big deal, and plan that kind of short-term, medium-term, then go to long-term, then that becomes a lot more sustainable. So your question, I understand where you are heading. Is it this or that? I don't think it's really this or that for one set of rules for everybody. It's really about who you are. Are you a gambler? Or are you that kind of person who says slow and steady wins the race? And if you know who you are, you work to the best of your strengths of your character. 行行都出状元. You have your own path. Stick to that own path, and money is in that path.
Okay, good. Wow.
For me, can both or not? Why must settle for one? Take both, No, man. I mean, like, I like big fast money. I like cash flow as well. Do both,
But what if you only got limited energy for you to focus on one? Like
Yes.
everyone got limited time.
Exactly.
And even if you want to make fast money, you gotta put in hard work in that
Of course.
as well. So, like,
Okay,
how-
so what
how
you're
are
saying
you
is
doing?
like with limited time, which one would you choose? For me, with my knowledge right now, I'll choose people beside me first, and those that can help me to do either both of this at the same time. So choose the people around you first. It's not about choosing these two, because I think opportunity is everywhere in the market lah. So I think having the right people with you, you can get big fast money and you can get cash flow as well.
Okay, well said.
I think Jeff asked me this one before, and my answer is always like 1000% big fast money. Because, when you look at the top guys, right, like successful people that, make it, it is always the big fast money instead of, slowly building an empire. Because like, how do I say this in English? So let's say in Chinese, 在风口上的猪都会飞, right? So if you're right, so yeah, translate to English.
The blowing the
pig.
fan blowing the pig also will fly.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, true. Because I don't believe in making slow money lah. Like cash flow. And the lesson that I learned is that cash is always king. You have cash in your pocket, you can do anything in the world. Literally everything. Like 99% of the problems out there, you need cash to solve it. The other 1%, you need more cash. That's it. So always big fast money. Always take risks. No risk, no worry.
I like to add on to what Ainsley is saying. Actually, there's also, I would say, an element of timing. Like right now, AI, we already know that if we go apply AI into all sorts of stuff, that's where the big money is and the fast money is. So if we choose a profession or industry that we know is already sunset one, no matter how you try to squeeze, also not going to squeeze a lot of money.
So choosing the right path, right? Timing, the right timing.
So for me, I think I agree with what Ainsley said. So big fast money at the start, and if time is actually limited, we should actually invest all of our time and energy to accumulate as much wealth as possible when we are young. Because imagine like you making your first million in your 20s and you making your first million in your 40s. Even though you might be making the same amount of money, but then the feeling is different. Like you enjoying that, or you coming to Bali at the age of 20 compared to you coming in when you don't have the energy to actually enjoy it, is very different. So I will put all my energy, especially when you're young, to actually go all out. So that's the first lesson I've learned. And I think second lesson is that once you've done that, how can you actually make this sustainable? So I love one quote by Alex Hormozy. So he said this, that the goal is not to just win at the business, it's to stay in the business. It's just like health. Your goal is not to just get fit, but is to stay fit consistently. So I think it applies to business as well. Like it's about how you stay in that game for the long term as well.
Wow, nice.
So I would lean to big money, but the question would be how long is quick when you say it's quick, and what resources do you need to get there? So if it's quick money, maybe you need like venture capital, so then there's going to be more people involved. So then there's more headache as well potentially, but then you get a big exit. So that would be the preference, to do big money, and then once you got the big money, then you can go into cash flow. But yeah, that would be one of the things I need to think about on whether to go on which path. And then the second one would be what stage of life you're in. So kind of what Shuyi's saying, like if you're younger, then you're sure go for big money, but then you also got to look like people around you. Like if you have a long-term partner, what's their job? Can they help support you? So if they can't like support the family, then yes, you can go for big money. But then if your family and the people around you need you, then maybe you need to go for cash flow. So I guess it depends on the situation as well.
Okay, cool.
Thanks, Eugene, for telling that and kicks up something in our mind about risk, right? So when you want to make money, right? So especially in connection with fast money, right? So I think like this, when you don't have money, right? When you are low on money, how you want to make big money is this: take huge risks with a lot of little money. You can separate like the money into 5-10 different investments, but take huge risks with small money. When you got money, take small risks with big money. You understand what I'm saying? All right.
Well, that's a piece of good advice, right?
For me, it's very straightforward. I follow my pace because just from the last few years of life, let's say, or wealth accumulation, I think all of us have this. We have our seasons as well. Like Q1, you go really hard, and then by the time Q4 comes, you wait for Q1, something like that. But I do have years where I'm just like going all in, and then there are some years because of things happening or like just generally I don't feel like it. I would pull it back because I feel like I've also gone through phases where I should be pulling things back, but then I over push myself, and I just find myself in a situation where I just don't like health goes downhill, everything around me is just going downhill. It's not just the wealth itself. So I think like for me, it's just understanding the pace that works for me, and then just trying to like match that. So that's me.
Oh, wow. Okay. Big round of applause for Tobin. Well, actually, I mean, throughout the years that I know about you, I really admire you, and that you going in your own pace, that not distracted by whatever it is. And that also get me thinking on next question, which is I wanted to ask to the panel of speakers here, which is today, right? We are actually living in an era that got so many fast money making opportunity. Do you guys agree? Right? Like we come to an era that for the past 10 or 20 years does not have this opportunity at all. And it's actually a good era, a good timing to make, like you want to go in crypto, you want to go in Forex, you want to go in AI, in making digital marketing, if you want to sell some products, whatever it is, there's tools, there's things out there for us to try on to do. And I think that for the next 2 years, the chances of having more opportunity is going to be even more frequent. It's like nearer and nearer. It's like maybe every 2 months you got a new opportunity. Every 2 months you got a new opportunity. So my question is, would you guys choose to maybe split yourself into more on this side hustling, or choose to focus? Start with you, Wayne.
I would focus. I think with more opportunities coming, what I'm actually looking for to diversify is actually whether I can find the people to help me diversify. I wouldn't do it myself because I feel like I know my zone, I know my expertise, and it's not necessarily with the new opportunities that are coming through. So yeah, for me, I would actually entrust others to help me do it, whether it's like advisors, consultants, or my team members. But I wouldn't actually, like me myself, I would probably not like diversify myself too much. Yeah.
So if beginners, let's say I just wanted to jump out from my 9 to 5 job and I wanted to start something, would you suggest to try invest in trying many things first to find what's the right fit? Or you will say that, okay, we focus back to what your best?
I think in terms of trying, it's not really a full attempt if you don't give it like a good 1 or 2 years. So I think like there's a lot of opportunities, but when it comes to picking the right opportunity, I think people should just give it a bit more time and be more patient about things, because anything that we do, I think if you focus on getting the lessons out of it, you eventually build a skill over time that you probably don't realize in the short term that is valuable. But then when you look back, it's like, oh, this is actually super valuable, and then you can move on to the next thing. So that would be my advice.
Okay.
The question was focus.
So focus
Yep.
or side hustle?
Yeah.
Like a lot of opportunities, right? Should we split ourselves or should we 100% focus?
Yep.
Especially for beginners.
Yep. I would definitely say focus now. With the internet, new technologies, AI, the barrier of entry in business is a lot lower. So, 20, 30 years ago, obviously, if you start a business, you need a lot of things, you need a lot of cash. So it's a lot easier to start now. So it's going to be more competition. So I think it's better to focus on an area of expertise and even niche down, so there's less competition. So then it's like if someone needs a particular skill or product, then they come to you and not picking from like multiple people.
But by choosing one, which means they got to let go of everything. Maybe like they are interested in crypto, they are interested in Forex, they are interested in digital marketing, they are interested in e-commerce, drop shipping, all kind of things. And they don't know what's gonna work for them first.
Yeah, so I guess that depends on whether you want to focus and make something your main business or whether you just want to learn. So learning, it should just be like a perpetual thing. So if you're in a specific niche, then you want to be an expert in that area, but then you also need to learn about AI. You need to learn about, say if you're a Facebook ads guy, you need to learn like a bit of website so you understand it. So whenever you come across it in the future, at least you understand the basics, someone doesn't rip you off, then you can, talk the basics. So that doesn't mean you become a website builder. It just means you understand the subject matter. And then maybe as one day, if you want to, you can expand to it once you've got one stable.
All right, good one. Give him a bit of applause.
So for me, I think that there are a lot of battles out there that you can fight, but more importantly is that you got to choose your battle. Like not every battle you need to actually go in, but identify what's your strength and only go into the battle where you think you can actually win. And I think on top of that, one thing that you also need to make sure is that when you find your battle, find something that you are passionate about, that you enjoy doing it. It's just like for me, myself, I'm in the breakthrough industry where I help people to actually break through, right? So like people can say crypto makes a lot of money, investing trading makes a lot of money. But then if I ask myself, do I see myself doing this? Maybe my answer is not yet, because I find more passion in helping others in what I do the best. So I think combining it with purpose, that is something that you got to figure out.
Okay, so my question is, before you pass on, so you see, now the trend, for example, okay, I mean, just giving an example. For example, now the trend is on crypto. But if we choose not going into it, and we choose to focus, let's say, on your own breakthrough industry, and would you feel like I'm actually losing out a lot of big money out there? Or you will think that if I focus, I will make more than I go into something that I don't like it.
Right. So for me, I think that it really depends on how you see things. So for me, yes, you could focus on what you really want. At the same time, you can also keep an open mind to the things that you are not familiar with. And for the things that you are not familiar with, if you really want to go in, partner up or joint venture with people who are already the expert in that, then that will help you a lot in your way.
Okay, good. Big round of applause for Sri. Side hustle or focus?
Right, so for beginners, right, if you're in 9 to 5 right now and you're trying to jump into like another opportunities or industries, right? So what you can do is that you can see what is the industry first, right? For example, if I like, there's crypto, there's drop shipping, and there's selling lights, selling chairs. So you need to compare, right? So how much money do you want to make, and how much money can the industry makes you? So for example, right, if I'm doing drop shipping and you're selling tiles, right, we both work 12 hours a day, but it's easier for me to make 10K per day than you making 10K per day. Or maybe you making 10K per day is like the top of your industry already, but my top of the industry maybe is like $1 million per day, something like that. So it depends. Yeah.
Okay, well said. Big round of applause.
Turn out so quick. Your question again was,
Side hustle or focus?
if the person is just starting out, right? If I'm just starting out. If I'm just starting out means, just to get a better context, right? So means I have money or don't have money.
Well,
It's really depending on that to make the decision. Very simple today. If you don't have, if no money, and we are 30 to 40, then I think we have to check our brain first. What have we been feeding the brain? Correct? That's one thing. So if you ask me if somebody got no money and want to jump out, right, and all the opportunities wrong, the first thing first is to learn how to focus. Focus on what? Increasing your active income. Active income is the one single key to building wealth. All right, you build your active income no matter what you do. Okay, look at opportunities that can help you to build active income, not jumping at every single thing. Okay, crypto is not an active income. Okay, you don't have money, you put into crypto, right? You got 100 today, right? You put into crypto and say, wow, I'm gonna get rich, right? 100x. Lucky, you get 100x. But if that 100 was wiped out, right, then you cry for 1 year. Then you stop making the money for what? So you focus on increasing active income, and then the rest of the things, right, very simple. Have you guys seen in New York, right, where the bicycle, there's a lot of cyclists in New York, right? So when the cyclists go around in New York when they cycle, what they do is that when they see a car, right, they piggyback around. Okay, you see, like they hold on the car one, so they can go faster, they don't need to ride everything. So one key thing, I think, if you learn how to focus already, right, the second thing is to learn how to piggyback. Don't recreate the wheel. When you look at all the shiny things, right, don't try to assess whether on your own whether this thing can work for you or not. Try to look at what the experts is doing, what other people is doing, what people is making money. Hop onto that when you got no money, right? Work for free for 3 months, 6 months, doesn't matter, and then you start to make money from there. Because I got one partner that worked with me, right? He came to me and he know that I'm doing my industry, like the coaching and sales one, right? And he worked for me for 1 year without pay.
Wow,
He can do it.
that's a great, right?
Yep. But because of that, right now, he is where he is and he's being recognized as my partner. And yet, there's this Datuk today that is offering him to become his prodigy, right? Prodigy for a $15 to $30 million business.
Wow.
5 years time. I mean, can you focus on 5 years? If you can focus on 5 years, right, I think anyone can get rich very, very quick. There's that ability to learn how to focus on it.
So I think literally you are saying that when we don't have money, you want to focus on side hustle or all these things. It's not the main things. Is it side hustle or focus? But most important things is increasing our own value, the value within ourselves. That what is the things that we can contribute back. But if we don't have all these things, then better focus on building up that first than talking about wealth or side hustle and stuff like that. Rather than suddenly you go into selling property, suddenly you're going to sell insurance and sell everything, trying to make money, but don't build ourselves, right?
Absolutely. Because if you can't build your active income skills or capability, right, then how do you expect people to give opportunity to you?
Well said.
Aaron said everything really. I add on one more question. He asked whether got money or no money, right? I'll add another question. Have you discovered who you are? What are your skills and talents yet? And what's your passion? Okay, because my answer is the same as most of them. Focus. And focus sometimes get distractions. And those distractions are shining object syndrome. If you haven't found out who you are, what are your skills, what your passion, hard to focus. So I won't repeat the rest that they said because what they say is really great. I just want to add one point, discover who you are first and close up all the shining object syndrome.
Wow, okay.
I want to add
This is a
something
great
to that.
session, right, guys? Do you agree?
One more thing to what Andrew said about discovering yourself. Sometimes it's not about how you discover yourself. Sometimes it's about you meeting someone who can point out to you who you are. And that will make you, be able to focus and you know where your direction is.
Do you mean getting a mentor?
Whether it's a mentor, as a coach, doesn't matter, but somebody who been there, done that, can point you out on the things you cannot see about yourself. I think that's very, very important.
Okay, cool. One last question to conclude the entire session, okay? Assuming somebody in the crowd having difficulties in their financial or maybe difficulties in their life, they are struggling, they are trying to break through. What is the one tips that you can give them to help them in walking out from the difficulties as soon as possible? Okay, the one tips that can help them to walk out from the difficulties as soon as possible. You can tell maybe with your own story or the lesson or anything. Okay, one tips. What would it be?
For me, what I did was I look for rich people. I go talk to the rich people and I strike up a conversation to discover what are their pain points, what are they lacking. And I will volunteer my services to work with them or work for them for free or collaborate. And that in itself is a door opener that will help me go out of whatever financial bad situation quickly.
Oh, well said. I never thought of he would answer something like that.
That's actually a killer method.
Very practical.
Yeah, very practical.
Okay, so this question, I think I got the experience to back it up because I got a student exactly that was in a very, very bad situation, and I myself was in a very, very bad situation before. So I think two things are. One, right, that you said there's a story talking about a little boy and a horse. right? So this little boy and a horse, right? They went into a cave, and everything was pitch black. Okay, so the boy got scared and has fear and don't know how to move forward, right? They want to move out of the cave, and then as they walk along, right, the boy suddenly stopped because it was too dark to see anything, and then he heard noises and was scared. So the boy asked the horse, like when the boy stopped, right, the horse suddenly bumped into the boy and asked, "Hey boy, what happened?" And the boy said, "No, I can't see. Move forward. I don't dare to move. I can't see anything, right?" And the horse goes like, "Boy, can you see your next step?" And the boy looks down and says, "Yeah, I can see it." And the horse said one thing: just take that next step. Okay, so that's one thing you really got to know. Every single problem got a next step. And the second thing is that you have to face the truth. Many people, when they're in problem, in financial situation, they put everything one side. They don't dare to face the truth. The only way they can face the truth is take out your Excel sheet or your book, write every single line of finances, expenses, everything down, and start crossing things out that you don't need to buy, don't need to use, and that will help you half the battle rate.
Wow, it gave me a goosebump actually.
So the question was, if you are broke, how do you...
One tips for people that maybe they are in broke or maybe in the bad shape in financial, and what's the one tips that can help them walk out fast?
Don't be lazy. Because in this era, right, if you are broke, you are lazy. You just have to admit it. There's information online, right? You need to face the truth. If you have access to internet, you have access to any information that you want, right? And right now we have GPT, AI for free, right? Yeah, free. Because I subscribe. Yeah. So everything is free, right? So if you still cannot make money in this era, then you're just lazy, you're miserable.
I think I would like to add on for whatever NC said about the lazy. What the lazy he means here does not mean like you sleep late, you never go to work, and like maybe many people, right? They wake up very early, they go working every day from Monday to Sunday, work 3 jobs a day, and they are still broke, right? I mean, like, these are the people that these are the people that hardworking, but they are not rich. So, I think the point of Ainsley saying lazy is not about the physical hard work. It's about here, our brain. Like how hard work you can work on your brain to think on a better solution. Every time you think of a better solution, you think another even better solution. You try to find another even better solution on top of that better solution that you just have. And I think that's the don't be lazy terms on that. Am I right?
Yes. It is so easy, right? If you go to YouTube right now, you type in how to make money. Don't have to online. How to make money, there's 100 million results. And, maybe 99 million is, maybe not working, but the 1 million is working, right? I've seen people like door knocking, asking people if I can clean your gutter, clean your lawn, and they are getting good money. I mean, it is hard to do it in Malaysia. Maybe you could move. Maybe, in Malaysia you can do so many things, right? Like unlimited things. People are just lazy to go and learn. And I see that most people are lazy to think, right? I have a lot of DMs in Instagram, right? People asking me, I'm interested in dropshipping. How do I want to start? Can you guide me? So many tutorials on YouTube, right? Just type in how to do dropshipping. There's people that teaches a full free course on how to set up website, how to set up your ads, everything, right? There's unlimited ways to make money right now. So in the previous era, like Jeff said, right? There's, money is not that fast, not that quick. Actually, it is, but you just don't have the access to the information. That's why you don't have the Kang Tao. But right now, right, the Kang Tao is all over the internet, right? There's unlimited things that you can make money, make big money, small money even, right? There's, like digital nomads living in Bali, making 10K, 20K US dollars per month. Sabai, easy. So, it is just an excuse, right? Like, because learning is hard and hard. Yeah.
Just face it and do it, right? Your philosophy.
Okay, I want to add something to what he said when he was talking about the brain. Can I be do you like the cold hard truth or not? Guys, you like cold hard truth or not? Because this can be super offensive, to some people. But I think most of you are okay with it. The cold hard truth is very simple. Everybody, can you bring out your phone? Can you bring out your phone? You got your phone, right? Do you dare to leave your house when the phone battery is low? What's the first thing you do? You charge the phone, right? You find the charger, right? Correct or not? You don't dare to leave your phone on empty, right? Anyone got a car? Back in wherever you are, got a car, right? Do you dare to let your car go without petrol, right? Don't dare, right? You refuel, right? But why is it people dare to let their brain go out of fuel and knowledge? Knowledge is the fuel to your brain. You want to get through it, refuel your brain first.
Thank you. So I like what Ainsley said about being lazy. So lazy, I feel, is not the lack of effort, but it's most people, they just do the same thing over and over again, and then they expect that something different is going to happen to them. It's like they keep on trying, but then they just try the same method, right? So talking about that, I think I'll just like to touch a little bit about mindset. Like how I got through my toughest time is I always have this one mantra. This one mantra is just one more. So when you feel like giving up, just tell yourself, just one more call, just one more try, just one more startup, just one more business, right? So when you focus on just one more, you don't focus on the long run. Because most of the time we get stressed because we are thinking like, if I'm broke right now, what if I'm broke 1 year later, 2 years later, 5 years later? Then they get overwhelmed by all this thing and then they don't take action anymore. So if you just tell yourself, just one more day. Today, how am I going to win my day? Did I do my very best? So when you break it down to every single day, what you need to do, and you be present in that current moment, that is what helps you to get through hardship. Thank you.
Well, I strongly agree with that because that is also what I believe in. Every time, whenever I want to give up and anything, I was like, let's just give another try, let's try it differently this time. And that is just like the same of what Aaron just shared. Look at your next step. You don't look too far first. At least you can see your next step. Just try the next step first. Just walk on the path first. Then suddenly you without you realizing, you are actually running and flying. So how about you, Eugene?
Not really much to add. I think probably what Aaron said, like cut your expenses down, really. And then the other things probably just find ways to make more money, right? So obviously in your job, if you can't make more, if it's a commission job, you can't make more money that way, then sell shit you have at home that you don't use. I don't know, find out, like, do you cook really well? Cook some food for people. I don't know, just find other ways to make money. It doesn't have to be online, just something you add value somehow to the world.
Okay, big round of applause for Eugene.
I don't have much to add because my approach, I think I don't really have like big drops so far, because I think like we talk about making big money, making fast money, making slow money. But I think generally before I start doing something, I try to figure out how do I lose as little money as possible. That's just my approach to things. But I do think about like what's the worst case scenario for myself quite a bit, like when I journal. I think a lot of times like the fear of like going through these hard points is that we are not able to let go of our ego. So for example, like I was always a business owner. Like, what do you mean by going back to work for somebody else? I was always making this much. What do you mean by, going back to a commission job? But if that's what's required and you are willing to do that, you'll be able to quickly walk out of those phases because you have been through those phases and you have learnings and knowledge and experience as well. And I think even if you go back, you will come out of it very quickly because of your experience.
Very good. Big round of applause for all our speakers. And that's it for today. Everyone, if you love the session, come on, give us some yelling and big round of applause. Thank you, guys. Thank you.